Welcome to another video. And before I get into this video, I watched the French presidential election in France on France 24 English on YouTube. And it was a race to the Elysee Palace in Paris, or Gay Palais, between two candidates. The incumbent French President Emmanuel Macron, who is the president of France, and the challenger, the far-right leader of the far right, Marine Le Pen. And I watched the debate between Emmanuel Macron and Marine Le Pen and on France 24 English, I think a couple of Sundays ago, and it was like 3 hours long. I didn't care about how long it was. It was interesting, and what went on between those two, it kind of mirror with the voters and the candidates. It kind of mirror what happened here in the U.S. in 2016 between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and also in 2020 between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So, it was very, very interesting. And they had this thing in France where where people on the news, France 24 English being one of them, can't talk about the election, can't talk about the candidates and the election. I think it was part of the laws in France. And also in France, you can't vote if you have a folded up, wrinkled up voting card. If you do, they'll reject you. And what else? Yeah, and they have this thing called 3 rounds. Like the first round, the second round, and the third round. I think the first round was, more candidates. A lot of candidates were fighting each other to challenge Macron. I think a guy, I don't know what his name is. He kind of resembles Bernie Sanders on his stance on things. Yeah, and wow, and in the first round, Marine Le Pen beats him and the other candidates that go against Emmanuel Macron. Then the second round was the debate between Macron and Le Pen, and the third round was voters voting, and that led to Emmanuel Macron winning re-election and hanging on to the keys of the Elysee Palace in Paris. And I heard some talks that Emmanuel Macron came off as arrogant, and some say that he's dangerous, and and Marine Le Pen is dangerous, and both of them are dangerous for France. So yeah. So it was interesting, if I lived in France, seeing how Emmanuel Macron is. He's a centrist, a neoliberal, and Marine Le Pen is far right. I wouldn't vote for either one of them. I'll probably sit this one out. I'll probably do the same thing like here in the U.S. So, enough of that. Let me get into this video. Okay, in this video, I want to talk about universal health care. Universal health care is a healthcare system that is guaranteed to all citizens of a country, regardless of their income, and it's where people can afford, where people can get health care free of charge without worrying about going bankrupt over medical bills. They don't have to worry about can they afford it. It's guaranteed to them through the government. And I can talk more about universal health care. Okay, where do I begin? And by the way, I did a video about healthcare, and the mic on my smartphone cut off, and it muffled me talking. And I posted it on the video. I posted it on this channel, and it didn't do so well, so I deleted the video. So I just hope this video that I'm doing about universal healthcare comes out good. So after I get done making this video, I'm just going to replay it and see if there's any problems with the smartphone that I'm making this video on. So, okay, back to universal health care. Okay, there's a different form or version of universal health care. Single payer. It's free to the point of service, and it's paid for through taxes. And it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed to everybody in the country, regardless of their income. So, like for instance, okay, if you have a job, okay, here in the U.S., your health care is tied to your employer, and if you lose your job, if you quit your job, or if you get fired, that health care goes away. It goes poof. It's gone. It's gone for good. Under a universal health care system, if you lose your job by getting fired, or you quit, you want to go and do something else, get another job, or go back to school, wherever you want to do, healthcare will still be with you. It will stick to you like glue, and it's something that you don't have to worry about, because it's going to be with you. Because in a country with universal coverage, universal health care, your job and your health care have nothing to do with one another. Okay, seeing a doctor. Not seeing a doctor, no. If you want to go to a hospital or a walk-in clinic, excuse me. If you want to go to a hospital or a walk-in clinic, if if the wait times are really has like a lot of people there, or actually, if you don't like the hospital and the clinic that you're in, you can go to another one. If you don't like that one, you can go to another one. If you don't like that one, you can go to another one. You have choices on where you want to go for healthcare services. And when you go to see your doctor, okay, before you go to your doctor, you call and make an appointment. Then you go see your doctor. You show your healthcare card. You go and have a seat in the waiting room or the waiting queue. Then after that, If your name is called, you go and see your doctor. Then after that, after you see your doctor, you don't stop by a health desk to discuss is to discuss your insurance. Is your insurance, your address, and everything's the same, and going over how much it will cost, your insurance will cover it. None of that. When you get done seeing your doctor, you just get up and leave. You just get up and leave. Get in your car and go home. And you don't have to worry about being on the phone with health insurance companies, using a credit card to pay or whatnot. None of that. Billing at a desk where you pay out of pocket, it doesn't exist in a country with universal coverage or universal health care. Yeah, you go in, see your doctor, and you leave. I mean, there's no middleman between you and your doctor. It's just you and your doctor. I mean, it goes for like dental, vision, hearing aids, mental health, pharma care. So yeah, universal health care. It's fantastic. It's fabulous. It's good, but it has its problems. It has its problems. It's not perfect. But I hear people here in the U.S. and in Canada talk about, the taxes are too high. The taxes are too high. You're gonna pay too much in taxes. The taxes are high. The truth is, under a universal healthcare system, yeah, taxes are raised so the system can function well. I mean, if you don't raise taxes on the system, then it's not going to function well. And people in the UK who have the NHS, which is their universal healthcare system, which been around since 1948. It's an old system, but it's a good system. And also, according to some Brits, the healthcare system is absolutely brilliant. And in the UK, people who love the NHS want taxes to be raised so the system can function well. And they're all for it. And going back to high taxes, the only people who could be paying more in taxes in a universal healthcare system is the ultra wealthy, millionaires and billionaires, rich people, wealthy people who can afford anything. They're going to be paying more in taxes. Their taxes are going up. And vice versa, a poor person, poor people who are not wealthy, who are not ultra rich, who are not millionaires and billionaires, they're going to pay less in their taxes. And it's like this. The more you make, the more you pay. The less you make, the less you pay. So, I hear this argument over like, the taxes under universal health care, it's high. The taxes are high. People pay too much in taxes. The taxes are high. The taxes are high. And I think here's another one. Let's so I can think of some other things I heard. Let me think here. Here's one. I heard my sister told me that under a universal healthcare system, you will lose your car and you will drive a beat up old jalopy, which is completely ridiculous. Oh yeah, here's a good one from some people in the U.S. on universal health care who are against it. They say that universal health care it has It has rationing. The wait times. Oh, the wait times are bad. You wait longer, you will never be seen. You will die on a waiting list or something like that. Well, well, first off, rationing. Um, in a universal healthcare system, rationing is based on need. Who needs the healthcare? Who needs it? That person needs it. Give it to them. They need it. That means if you're sick, if you're hurt, you're gonna be seen. And also, you're not gonna be put on a waiting list in a waiting queue at a hospital, an emergency room. You're not gonna be sitting in the waiting queue bleeding to death and badly sick or injured. No, you're gonna be seen immediately. I mean, you're gonna be taken to the emergency room and you're gonna be taken to there. You're not gonna go in into a waiting room, take a number and go and sit and wait for your number, your name to be called. No, you're gonna be seen immediately. But if it's something like something minor, like a minor health checkup, something that's not that bad or urgent, yeah, you're gonna be waiting a little longer on that. But you're gonna be seen, and you are. I hear a lot of crazy stuff from Americans here in the U.S. I mean, they like things like freedom. I mean, Americans and conservatives, they're all about freedom. They talk about freedom, 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 full freedom. Okay, where is the freedom in your health care? There is no freedom. I mean, how can you go bankrupt over medical bills? How can that be freedom? How can having health care guaranteed to you through your employer, your job, and if you quit your job or if you get fired, you lose your health care. How is that freedom? How can 45,000 and more Americans die every year because they lack basic health care and they can't afford it? How can that be freedom? I mean, if you ask me, I mean, in the American healthcare system, there is no freedom. Freedom doesn't exist in the American healthcare system. I mean, you have to pay out of pocket for healthcare services. I went to the dentist one day to get a filling put in a tooth in my mouth, and I had to pay $357 or how much it costs for that. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, the American healthcare system here in the United States is basically a pay to play system. And it's like this. I mean, if you're wealthy, if you're ultra wealthy, if you're a millionaire if you're a millionaire or a billionaire, you get the greatest health care money can buy. If you're poor, you're not going to get that same health care that the wealthy get. You're going to get crappy health care. You're going to get crappy, trashy, insane health care. That's what you're going to get. You got people here in the U.S. talk about, oh, healthcare countries with universal coverage, countries with universal health care, countries that have universal health care, their healthcare systems are failing. And America's healthcare system is the best, which is, I hate to say it, which is total bullshit. It's BS. The United States alone has a failing healthcare system because the healthcare here in the United States is not free, public, and universal. Well, I don't want to use the word free because, in a universal healthcare system, it's not free. You pay for it through your taxes. Because, when you pay your taxes in a country with universal health care, you're going to be, when you pay taxes in a country with a universal health care system, you're going to be paying for your health care. That's how you're going to be paying for it. And, and doctors, they say doctors aren't going to make nothing under this system. They're going to close up shop. They're going to struggle. That's bullshit. They're going to be paid phenomenally well. It's just a conservative talking point where greedy health insurance companies just price gouge on people, just gouging on people, just making money, just profiting off of people's sickness and suffering. Because in this system that we're currently in right now, the U.S. healthcare system, people are denied healthcare coverage because of a pre-existing condition. So it's like this. The more money greedy for-profit healthcare companies make, the more people that they deny, the more money that they make. And that's a heartless, sick, disgusting, broken, monstrous system. And it is. So, going back to this person telling me that countries with universal health, when it comes to health care, you have a lot of freedom under universal health care. And also, someone said that, I think I said this, lost my train of thought and I was interrupted. Okay, let's clear my throat here. Okay, someone said that, countries with universal healthcare systems have failing healthcare systems. Let's take a look at this, shall we? And I know this at the top of my head. I know some of you guys know this, or some of you guys know this, and some of you guys don't know this. But I'm gonna say this, so people who go bankrupt over medical bills and people who lost their health care on their jobs and people die waiting to get care, 150 million or more, something like that in that number. And in countries with universal health care, countries that have a different form or version of universal health care, 0. That's right, 0. The United Kingdom, 0. France or the République Française, 0. Spain, 0. Portugal, 0. Italy, 0. Norway, 0. Sweden, 0. Australia, 0. New Zealand 0. Every country that has a different form or version of universal health care, 0. Donut. Why is that? Because those countries with universal coverage don't tie people's health care to their employer, to their job. And health care is guaranteed to you under a universal health care system. And it's guaranteed to you. I mean, something that you will never ever have to worry about because it's off the table. You don't have to think about it because it's there for you. Because if you're sick, you've been injured, it's there for you. You look in that corner. There's your health care. Go and get it. It's there. It's always there. You have the same health care that you always have. And going back to having a job in a country with universal coverage, universal health care, if you quit your job, if you want to go back to school, you want to start a business, whatever you want to do, health care is guaranteed to you. Free to the point of service and paid for through your taxes. It's there for you. I mean, you still have it. I mean, you get another job. You have the same health care, everything. Nothing has changed. At all. And if you're born in a country with universal health care, after you are born, you automatically have health care. Guaranteed to you. Yeah. Crying and covered in goop after your mother gave birth to you, you will have health care. And the mother, if a woman goes and has her baby at a hospital, do you know how much it will cost her? 0. Nothing. Nada. Donut. Nothing. Nothing. At all. No medical bill, no nothing. And I heard that in countries like Canada and in the United Kingdom, you have to pay for parking. And after you get your health care services at a hospital, you get a parking bill. And that's the only thing you're going to have to pay. No medical bills at all. Because they don't exist. No premium, copays, and deductibles. That doesn't exist. None of that. Yeah. Healthcare. Yeah, healthcare is off the table. It's guaranteed to you. You have the freedom to choose your own doctor. It's up to you to choose your own doctor. You can go to any walk-in clinic or hospital that you want. Any one of them. You don't have to worry about a thing. Yeah. Some Americans tell me universal health care has problems. It does. It has problems. It's not perfect. Like, take Canada, for instance. Under their universal health care system, their universal health care system doesn't cover dental, vision, hearing aids, pharmacare, mental health, and other things. Their system doesn't cover that, and I think that I think all of that should be included into the system. But there's a healthcare system that a U.S. senator, a sitting U.S. senator from Vermont, has created for America, and it's called Medicare for All. And it's basically Canada's healthcare system on steroids. Medicare for All covers just about everything that the Canadian healthcare system doesn't cover. I mean, things that I've mentioned that the Canadian healthcare system doesn't cover. So if America has Medicare for All, which is a universal healthcare system, which is a Medicare expansion, then America's healthcare system will be better than Canada's healthcare system. And I heard a Canadian who heard about this. He said that if that happens, he will be a jealous Canadian. So yeah, but as long as a broken for-profit healthcare system and a bunch of greedy people within that healthcare system and a bunch of conservative people, a bunch of idiots fighting against a wonderful healthcare system like universal healthcare, America will never have a true free public healthcare system that has freedom in it. But right now, under the American healthcare system, you don't have no freedom. You can't choose your own doctor. You can't go to any walk-in hospital and clinic that you want. I mean, you got to be in network. I mean, the American healthcare system is so complicated, it's so stupid that I just can't understand it. I just can't wrap my head around it. And I'm an American and I live in America. And I just got the same mindset as people who live outside the US and other countries. They have a different form or version of universal health care. So, stuff like, a woman in New York got her leg caught in a subway and she screamed to tell people not to call an ambulance because she gonna end up paying money to ride an ambulance to a hospital and get treated. She had to pay out of pocket for that. I mean, if you ask me, the American healthcare system is absolutely insane. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's bureaucratic. It's broken. It's other trash. It's garbage. It's worthless. It's no good. And I just can't understand how anybody in any part of America can defend the current system, the current healthcare system that the U.S. has. And you got people talking about, oh, the Affordable Health Care Act is great. It's great. And I can opt out on this and that. Like, yeah, the Affordable Health Care Act that was passed by President Obama back in 2010. Yeah, it was a step in the right direction, but it doesn't eliminate and solve the problems in the healthcare system that it had, like, before Obama passed the Affordable Care Act. So, people who defend the current healthcare system in the U.S., are just, they have no clue. They're backwards. They're completely out of touch. Someone who's fighting against a wonderful, awesome system like universal health care they're just completely insane. There's something wrong with them. They're just saying, in some parts of America, you got people who care about how long they live. You got people who just gamble with their health and don't care about how long they live. So yeah. I guess one of those freedoms here in America is you have the freedom to die. Freedom to go bankrupt over medical bills. But in a country, in countries that have universal health care, countries that have universal health care systems, they have they have a very high life expectancy. They live longer than their American counterparts. I mean, their food is healthy, and plus they got prevention in their health care. So their health care, in their health care, something will be detected in their health when they're going to see the doctor, and the doctor said, okay, if you keep eating this or whatever, it's going to get worse. So I advise you to stop eating this and eat something healthy, and exercise more and drink more water and take better care of yourself. Yeah, prevention. Yeah, and yeah, like I say, universal health care isn't perfect. It has its problems, and it does. But it's way better than what the healthcare here in America is all about. How bad it could be. I mean, under a universal healthcare system, you're a poor person. You, a wealthy person, will be on the same healthcare. I mean, you have the same healthcare as a police officer or anybody in America. Your congressmen, the president, senators, you know, any person who does anything for a living here in America, you will be on the same health care as they are. You have the same health care. So, how bad could it be? So, it's a great system. It has its problems, but it's a great system. So, that's all I gotta say in this video. Cheers and au revoir. Bye.